Mastering Classification and Comparison. Welcome everyone. Today we're diving deep into two essential tools for clear technical communication: classification and comparison. Let's start with classification. Classification is the mental process of sorting things into groups based on shared characteristics. It answers the simple but powerful question: what kinds of things are there? Listen for these key phrases that signal classification is happening. You will hear them in textbooks, presentations, and reports. For example, can be classified into, may be divided into categories. There are several types of, and falls into two main groups. Let me give you several examples from different fields. In computer science, you might read, computer networks can be broadly classified into three categories: local area networks, metropolitan area networks, and wide area networks. In biology, living organisms are divided into 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. In materials engineering, engineering materials may be categorized into metals, polymers, ceramics, and composites. In economics, unemployment is typically classified as frictional, structural, cyclical, or seasonal. Now, let's make it more specific. A civil engineer might say, bridges can be classified according to their structure into beam bridges, arch bridges, suspension bridges, and cable-stayed bridges. An environmental scientist could state, air pollutants are divided into 2 primary categories: primary pollutants, which are emitted directly from a source, and secondary pollutants, which form in the atmosphere through chemical reactions. The power of classification is that it creates a mental map. It helps you and your audience understand the scope and relationships within a complex topic. Before we move on, here's a simple exercise. Think about the different types of vehicles. How would you classify them? You could say, vehicles can be classified by their environment into land vehicles, watercraft, aircraft, and spacecraft. Or, vehicles may be divided by their power source into human-powered, engine-powered, and electric-powered. Practice this with concepts from your own field. Now, let's move to our second tool: comparison and contrast. Once you have classified items into groups, you often need to evaluate options or explain the differences between them. Comparison focuses on similarities, while contrast focuses on differences. The language of comparison and contrast is very specific. For highlighting similarities, use words and phrases like similarly, likewise, both, also, in the same way, and comparable to. For highlighting differences, use whereas, while, unlike, in contrast, on the other hand, and conversely. Let's explore many examples. First, from renewable energy. Solar power and wind power are both renewable energy sources. However, solar panels generate electricity during daylight hours, whereas wind turbines can produce power day and night, provided there is wind. Another example from software. Python and Java are both high-level programming languages. Python, however, is often praised for its concise and readable syntax, while Java is known for its write once, run anywhere portability. Let's look at economics. Microeconomics and macroeconomics both analyze economic behavior. Microeconomics focuses on the actions of individuals and firms. In contrast, macroeconomics studies the economy as a whole, including topics like inflation and national output. In chemistry, ionic and covalent bonds are both types of chemical bonds. Ionic bonds involve the transfer of electrons, whereas covalent bonds involve the sharing of electrons between atoms. Here is a more detailed comparison from civil engineering. Concrete and steel are both fundamental construction materials. Concrete has high compressive strength, but weak tensile strength. Steel, on the other hand, has excellent tensile strength. Consequently, reinforced concrete combines these materials, utilizing the compressive strength of concrete and the tensile strength of embedded steel bars. The ability to clearly compare and contrast is crucial for making recommendations, analyzing data, and designing solutions. To practice, take 2 similar tools or concepts in your field. It could be 2 different algorithms, 2 economic theories, or 2 chemical processes. Write a few sentences describing what they have in common and how they are fundamentally different. Use the signal words we discussed. This will solidify your understanding. In our next podcast, we will master the final tool, describing processes. Until then, keep practicing your classifications and comparisons.